Welcome. Now today we are going to take the part 2 of the policy based authorization in ASP.NET Core. So I strongly suggest everyone to go to the part 1 first before coming to this part, because this second part is based pretty much we are continuing from where we left in the part 1. Alright, so here is the learning outcomes. So in this tutorial we shall learn about using policies in the claims based authorization in ASP.NET Core 3. So in the process we'll learn about the claims based authorization fundamentals with a practical example and learn how to apply the authorization policy to the controller, and then we shall switch over to the usual slideshow. So claims based authorization provides a declarative way of checking access to the resources. So when an identity is created, it may be assigned one or more claims issued by a trusted party. So please go through my lecture series on configuring identity or creating an identity. So I have got a whole bunch of lecture over there before coming back. So what is an identity and what is a claims principle? That's all covered in there. The claim is a name value pair that represents what the subject is, and a claim does not represent what the subject can do. So only what the subject is or what it represents, not what he can do. So in a driver's license, for example, issued by any local driving license authority, the claim name is the date of birth on the license. Now, date of birth, the value of the date of birth will be the user's date of birth. Like, if it pertains to me, Kaushik, so it will have my date of birth, Kaushik's date of birth. All right. Now, claims-based authorization can be implemented using policies. So I am reproducing the code snippet from an earlier slide again as below. So configure services method within the startup class. So that is adding the MVC compatibility version 3, and then this is what it matters. So at least 21 policy. So we have seen what is this at least 21 policy in the last lecture and part 1 in the policies based authorization. So I am adding a new requirement to this at least one. This is the policy name and this is the requirement. So it has got one requirement, which is a minimum age requirement of 21. So at least 21, this policy, at least 21 policy checks if the minimum age requirement is of 21 years is met. Now the policy is added to the service collection using the add policy method. So we can then apply this policy at the controller level in the authorized attribute as shown below. So you have to use these using statements. So in this authorized attribute, this authorize, so you have got a policy. This is the policy property. Policy is at least 21 is a policy property of the authorized attribute. So let's say this is alcohol purchase controller. I think this suggests everything to you that the minimum age for alcohol purchase in suppose any country ABC, it could be 21 years. So this authorized attribute with a policy property of at least 21 will enforce that minimum age requirement of 21 is met. Okay. So today that's all. So today we have learned that about using policies in the claims based authorization in ASP.NET Core 3. And also we in turn learnt about the claims based authorization fundamentals with a practical example and learnt how to apply the authorization policy to the controller.